Hello beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. I'm Nella for those of you who don't know, and in today's video I'm going to tell you guys just a few, around 5 or 6 financial decisions that I made in my 20s that I'm absolutely proud of and I think every 20-year-old should make. Now if you're interested in finding out those great financial decisions, then keep on watching. But before you begin the video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel as we continue to grow together. Alright guys, let's get into the video. If you're not new here, then you know that this is a point in the video where I introduce the subscriber of the day who will be listed on the screen right here. Thank you so much for your continued support as this channel continues to grow together. And now for the tips. It is so easy for us to talk about all of our financial losses and all the mistakes we made with money, because a lot of us think of money as just this finite source that will never come back. But the truth is, from you have life and you have ability, you can always earn money. It is also true that oftentimes we forget about all the wonderful things that we did and all of the great accomplishments that we have made, especially in our 20s. A lot of us look back on our 20s and be like, oh God, why me? But our 20s, a lot of us did some amazing things, and a lot of 20-year-olds are doing some amazing things. Yes, we may not be mega millionaires and we're not corporate running corporate entities, but for a lot of us we did still make some great financial decisions in our 20s, and these are mine and these are what I think other 20-year-olds should do. If you're in your 20s, then listen up keenly. But as with other advice, this is not limited to only 20-year-olds. Since last week I gave you all the bad things, this week I'll give you some of the good things. Alright, let's get into the video. The first thing that I did in my 20s, which I'm absolutely proud of, is I learned how to budget. Now, there are different budgeting styles, which I'll discuss in another video, probably on my other channel. But the most important thing you need to know is that you need to learn how to manage your money. If you can't manage $10, you won't manage $50. The whole point of me talking about lifestyle inflation is that a lot of times I was earning more money, because I mean, when I was going to school, I was literally just living off of what my parents were able to give me, or what I was able to, hustle around, my lunch money, whatever I was able to make for myself. But then I got a steady, stable job and I gave into lifestyle inflation, because in the beginning, especially because I didn't know how to manage my money. Now, a lot of people, you find that the more they earn, they're still broke. No matter if they earn $50 million a year or $5 million a year, they were earning $5 million, they were broke. They're earning $50 million, they're broke. And that's because they don't know how to manage their money and how to budget their money. Now, when people hear budget, they think, oh, restriction. But really what a budget is, it tells you where your money is going. It gives you intention and purpose for your money, so you don't fall into the trap of just spending your money all willy-nilly, and then when you look back you realize, where did it all go? And that's one of the reasons why I'm very proud, and I think every 20-year-old should learn how to budget and manage their money. You don't have to be living on a shoestring budget. You don't have to be as tight, or as every single dollar has to go, every single dollar has to be documented or something. But you need to have a framework on which how you manage your money, so you know where your money is going, you know which items are the most important. You don't want to leave your bills for last and can't pay your rent, can't pay for your utilities, can't pay for anything, but you're outside and just spending money. It's irresponsible, and you need to learn how to budget money. I'm just saying. The second thing that I did, which I'm really proud of, that in my 20s, is I set up an emergency fund. No, it is not 6 months expenses saved, barely, not even 3 months. But I do have a nest egg, an emergency fund, a rainy day fund, if you will, that if something were to happen to me right now, I will not be completely destitute. I will not be thinking, oh my God, where am I going to find this money? And this emergency fund has come in so handy in so many times that yes, I have used it, but I've also been able to replenish it. Trust me, it has come in handy. I've had times when my car just broke down unexpectedly, and because I had that money saved, I was able to pay for it, or as in an accident or some other issue where I would be debilitated for some reason, or I was not able to say, just it happened in the middle of the month. Payday do come, but I was able to reach for that emergency fund and use the money to say this is where it is, and it got me out of a jam. So everybody should have a emergency fund. In Jamaica, when you go out on a date, they say if I have your vex money, that is your emergency fund. It is your vex money that if anything happen, you have a little money in your pocket to say XYZ, and you can provide for yourself, especially in these times where so many people have lost their jobs. It's because, and a lot of people are just like, what am I going to do next? A big part of it is they didn't have any savings or any kind of emergency savings that was stacking up in case of any kind of emergency happening. And we never know what is going to happen in our life, and we never know what life is going to throw us as a curveball. So we need to have at least a little bit of a nest egg put down to say this is what I am going to use in the case of emergency. Now, I'll discuss emergency funds in a different video because there are different ways you can put the emergency fund. You can have a liquid emergency fund, but one thing I will say is I don't think a lot of people may depend on stocks, but stocks is not an emergency fund. Stocks is a wealth building tool, but I don't think of it as an emergency fund because an emergency fund should be accessible readily, but not to the point where you're just going to the ATM. So it should be like an account where maybe you need to go into the bank to get the money, but not necessarily one that is attached to your ATM so that you don't squander the money, right? The third financial decision that I made that I'm proud of, and I know that this might be foreign for a lot of Americans because as soon as you guys are ready to turn 18, you're like, I'm ready to move out of your house. But I lived with my parents for as long as I could. For as long as possible, I stayed in my parents' house. You guys know I always joke that I'm a freeloader in my parents' household. And honestly speaking, the fact that I was able and I was afforded the opportunity to stay in my parents' household for a very long time, it saved me a lot of money. It has saved me a lot of expenses. I don't have to worry about paying certain bills because my parents are paying it. So I am just like, I've afforded, I was able to save. And that's one of the reasons I was able to save some more money, create my emergency fund. And that's because I stayed in my parents' household for as long as possible. And culturally, a lot of Caribbean people do it. A lot of people in Jamaica still live with their parents. A lot of people in other cultures, Indian, Asian, a lot of other cultures doing it. And there's nothing wrong and there's no embarrassment in if you have the opportunity, if you have the relationship, because sometimes you may not have a great relationship with your family and staying with family might be more of a mental health issue. But if you do have the relationship, you do have the opportunity and you can get to stay with your family as long as possible without paying rent, then do that. Save the money. Don't try to be hype. Don't try to be show off and say, oh, this that I live on my own and then you can't pay your bills. Stay with your family. It saves you a lot of money and it can help you build the lifestyle that you need later on. All right? Don't say I never told you. The fourth financial decision that I made in my 20s that I'm extremely happy about is that I established a savings habit. Now, I wouldn't be able and I would never have achieved my emergency fund if I did not know and learn how to save. The whole habit of saving is something that was taught to me when I was very young. When I was a little child, my grandmother, my mother, my auntie, my uncle, my father, everybody used to tell me to put away a little bit of money. When I got Christmas money, I'd have to put a little bit away, put it in a savings account. If I get little coin change, I would have put it in a little piggy bank. So I've always had this saving habit, but it became more, but I was a child. It never really reached me and it never really instilled in me until I became an adult and I realized that I needed to save. It wasn't just a matter of wanting to save and put down money because truth be told, when I was a child, my parents were just taking the money and putting it down. It wasn't me who was doing it. But when I developed my own saving habit, I was able to save for a lot of things. I was able to save for, technology that I want, whether it be, phone, whatever. I was able to save for my car. I was able to save and put away money for my emergency fund. I was able to save to travel. So just having this saving habit and developing a habit of saving for what I wanted, and not just, waiting for my paycheck to come in, or just waiting for things to happen, really helped me to achieve and accomplish a lot of the things that I wanted in my 20s, and a lot of experiences that I had in my 20s. So I'm very happy that I learned how to save, and it was especially important in me being able to develop my emergency fund. Trust me, that emergency fund has saved me, and you guys need to get on that. Now, the fifth thing that I did in my 20s, and I've mentioned it here before to you guys on this channel, is that I paid off my car loan last year. And last year I was 29. I did not turn 30 yet when I paid it off. And that was a great accomplishment. And that came through me saving, learning how to manage my money, and then I was able to pay it off earlier than expected, which was able to reduce my debt burden and free up more money so that I can do and have experiences that I would want. And that was a great accomplishment. So if you can pay off any debt, no matter how small, if it's a bicycle you did buy and you can pay it off, if you can pay off your credit card, you can pay off your car loan in your 20s and you're afforded opportunity, I would always recommend you pay off any debt that you can in your 20s. Now, you do have to do it like me, where it was only thing you're focused on, because I do believe at the same time you should be investing. But pay off your debt as early as possible and as quickly as possible, so it can help to improve your quality of life in your older years. And that's one of the things that I was accomplished, and I am so proud of that I did in my 20s. The final thing I did in my 20s is that I invested in experiences. Now, I know for some people this may be like, they may think of it as squandering money. But for me, I think life enriching experiences has shaped me into who I am. It's great to see different perspectives. It is great for me to understand where other people are coming from. And it was great for me to enrich myself mentally, spiritually, culturally, whether it be travel across my country or travel to another country. I was able to pay for myself and afford myself the opportunity to travel to different spaces, and I was able to also invest in myself in that I paid for different courses, I went to different experiences, and I just think that just investing in those experiences has enriched my life so much, and it is something that is important to me, that I am so happy that I did that in my 20s when I had the opportunity to do it so freely. Especially now that, looking back, I am more grateful because we are in a pandemic and it don't look like it ready for stop anytime soon. So having those memories has really, brought me something to be thankful for, that I was able to do it in my 20s. So yeah, experiences are something that will last you a lifetime. All right, guys, so just let's recap about the things that I was able to do in my 20s that I think every 20-year-old should do. I learned how to budget my money, to manage my money. I created an emergency fund. I lived with my parents as long as possible, shamelessly. I developed a savings habit. I invested in my experiences. And finally, but certainly not least, I paid off my debt, paid off my car loan. And these were things that I think that I was appreciative, and I'm happy that I experienced and I achieved in my 20s, so that now that I'm in my 30s and I'm building my wealth, I'm building my lifestyle, I have those to look back on as accomplishments and build upon. All right. So that is it for today's video. If you have any comments, questions, or you have anything that you want to celebrate in the comments down below about things that you may have achieved in your 20s, because like I said, a lot of times we forget that we did some great things. We may not have done everything we want, but we have accomplished a lot of goals, no matter how small. And a lot of times we don't celebrate those. So if you accomplished anything in your 20s, financial or otherwise, then list them down in the comment below. And like I said, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching the video. Until next time. Peace.